What we're going to do is go back to one of the short but sweet questions. It was your biggest regret in fishing, and we're going to just ask you to explain it a bit more in depth. Obviously, the answer to the question was Dinton. Obviously, an amazing lake. What happened? Why didn't you take the ticket when you had the chance?
Well, I remember me and my dad putting our names on the waiting list, and 12 years later on, that's when they offered me the ticket.
Yeah.
So it was all excitement and buzzing, and like you would be, anybody. Dinton Pastures is a awesome place.
How many years ago do you reckon it was that we went and had a look? Just for the viewers, the context. Obviously, it's not the Dinton.
10 years, isn't it? More.
Probably
15 years,
maybe 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, because obviously
Yeah,
it's not the same lake as it was now. It was different. We had the older generation
The
of
older
stock back
yeah.
then. Yeah.
The better stock.
Yeah, arguably, yeah.
Yeah, so it was probably, it got to be 15 years ago,
Yeah.
probably. But worst nightmare, that one. We all three of us went.
Yeah.
Me, you and Scott went up and had a look round, and I was gutted, mate, when we walked across that guy, you know, in his bivvy, and showed us then. Didn't that look official? You know what I mean? That fog.
Yeah, it did.
It got the council. What was it? The Wokingham Council on the front and all that. Do you remember?
Something like that. Yeah.
And all them fish with that deceased through the middle of them.
Yeah. And it was all the ones you wanted as well.
Yeah, it was all the main ones, weren't it? You know, it was all the main fish back then, and yeah, I was gutted. And yet, I came back from there and I spoke to a friend who's a good friend of Simon, who owns Dinton, Alan Greenwood. And he told me it was lies, you know, about them fish that had been deceased and all that.
Yeah.
But when you're actually there and people show you these things that look so official, and it did, I mean, let's be fair, it did, didn't it? It looked so
he
official.
said he was a bailiff and all that. So
And you wouldn't, and there was no one else there, was there? Only him.
Yeah.
We walked up, you know. So yeah, that is my worst regret in carp fishing, listening to that prick, to be fair. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
It ruined my chance of fishing probably one of the best waters in the UK at the time.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is as well, we walked the lake first, didn't we? Because and then we see him at the end, and obviously we'd seen carp. And
we'd seen fish on the way round.
And you were obviously buzzing and everything, weren't you? So
I was buzzing till I got to him. Yeah, he totally ripped my life apart that day, I think.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a lot of money, isn't it? So you don't want to go.
It was £850 if I remember rightly, or £650. It was a lot of money back then. We're talking, how long? 15?
15 years
more,
ago, got to be,
more years ago. So it was a lot of money as well, to go on a place where you was expecting to find these fish that were supposed to have been deceased.
Yeah.
And there was just no way you could pay that kind of money for not having all that stock being there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have joined.
No.
I would have found it hard to part ways with that money.
No, it was a lot of money. And yeah, I was gutted to find out that they were still all there afterwards.
Yeah. No, it's a closed list, you can't get on there.
You can't, but it took me 12 years to be offered the ticket. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah,
still gutted to this day.
I know. Yeah. So the next one that we have.
So whoever you are, mate, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next one is your first 30.
My first 30. That would be on a place called Artsmoor. It was funny that was, because I went down to see John at Artsmoor and managed to get a few guest tickets.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to, because it was a syndicate, but because I'd got friendly with John, No one was fishing there. He asked me if I fancied to do a couple of nights in the winter time. I think it was February when I first did my first day on there, or first couple of nights I should say. And I managed 2 fish, a 27 common and a smaller one, and then I got banned. They banned me.
Why did they ban you?
Well, there was another lad came on the second day I was on there, and he found out that I'd had this lumpy common at 27 something, and he complained to John to say that it was a syndicate and you shouldn't have people paying for night tickets or be allowed to fish unless they were on the syndicate. Fair enough, you know, to a certain degree. So that scuppered my chances of. I did have, I think it was either another 2 nights penciled in with John, or 4 nights, I can't really remember, but I couldn't go. They wouldn't allow me on there until I was a fully fledged syndicate member.
Yeah. So how
Which
long?
happened that January.
Oh right, it did.
It happened. No, it couldn't have been February. It must have been on November, because 2 months later I was on the syndicate. So
Okay.
that was cool.
And how long did it take you to catch this first 30?
I think it was. I'm sure it was in June time, weren't it? It was really hot. Yeah, I think it was around the June time. It was really hot. There was me, the brother-in-law there, Scott came, and one of Wayne's kiddies came. I can't remember who it was. Which was Damien, Dominic, Dale. Okay.
Got there, yeah.
Yeah.
Too many D's, isn't it?
It was, yeah, there is too many D's. It was quite funny because Wayne had, I think, if I remember rightly, Wayne had the first fish, didn't he? Is that 29 trio where he ran down the hill? Yeah, I was struggling up to that point. Wayne had a 29 trio, and then we was making breakfast in my swim. You know, Wayne and his young'un come round into my swim, we're making breakfast.
Yeah.
Really sunny, red hot. In fact, it was absolutely boiling. Then I had a take off this spot, which was called the Colonel's Hat. Wayne had got onto the left-hand side of the float. I'd got onto the right-hand side of the float.
Yeah.
Roughly the same area of the lake. And I had a take, and it was what's it called? One pelvic linear. Yeah, and it was quite weird actually, because as soon as we pulled into the fish, the weather just went shit, didn't it? It was absolutely wellied it down. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
What was the fight like?
I wouldn't say it was a mental fight. It put up a little scrap, didn't it? You know, it didn't until that rain came down. But bearing in mind, it was just piping hot 1 second, and as soon as I pulled into that fish, it was torrential, weren't it? It was amazing.
Yeah.
So the fight weren't the best fighting fish,
No.
but it put up a fight. Put up a bit more of a fight when the rain started coming down, because it was lashing it down.
So what was the fish? Obviously 1 pelvic. I'm assuming it only had 1 pelvic fin.
Yeah.
What did it have? Any other characteristics? Any, you know, what did it look like? Its colours and stuff.
It was very red. It was a very red fish, or that kind of reddy colour. Linear gold scales across the middle as linear wood. Deep-bodied fish.
Yeah.
Not a long fish, quite short, but mint. Absolutely beautiful fish. You know.
And how big did she go?
If I remember rightly, it was £30 4.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Lovely job.
Yeah, it was a beautiful fish.